there's always more to the story. Join your hosts, Dr. Eric Shaw, prosecutor Ryan Frank, writer Adrian Bonenberger, and comedian Ryan Connor as they follow up on the most recent episode of Baggage. This is Carry On.
Hey everybody, welcome to Carry On, the supplemental episode to Baggage. And on this episode, we have Ryan and Eric with me. Adrian couldn't make it. And I wanted to talk about two things that happened today. Two things came up. Who posted it? Eric, maybe you posted it. The Hulu documentary about the, what's it called? It's
Fly
about
King or something like that?
Fly King. And it's coming out. It's coming out soon. It's about the guy out on the West Coast that had a mental health crisis.
Sky King.
Okay, it had a mental health crisis, ended up taking a plane out for a joyride, and I won't give away the ending, but we featured that on a Carry On episode following Patrick, the death scene investigator, because he was the guy that went out to the island to, I guess I'm giving away now, to look for any remains or whatever. So 6 Degrees of Separation. Now there's a documentary coming out about that, which is I'm looking forward to hearing. But also what happened today is that the Giglio Beach serial killer pled guilty to murdering 7 people. He pled guilty to 7 murders and then admitted there was an 8th victim as well and gave the name of that or whatever. So
what is this Giglio Beach thing? I don't know what you're talking about.
New York, Long Island area. Between 1992 and 2011, a number of bodies were showing up and they believe they were all connected. And then I want to say through DNA, I think they ended up connecting it to this guy. Could be wrong about that. Should have done a little bit more reading before this episode. But anyway, they developed him as a suspect and arrested him in 2023.
Gilgo Beach.
What did I say? Giglio. That's a court case. I have that in my brain. Gilgo Beach. Yeah. Patrick was involved in that as well. So it's kind of, again, 6 Degrees of Separation, that he was allowed because his father was I want to say court reporter, was allowed special access to coroner's office. I don't know how they're related, but it was. So he was able to be present for the autopsy of one of those murder victims. God, who knows how many years ago. And now the guy that was responsible for that dead body that he was present watching the autopsy for has just pled guilty. Yeah. It's just kind of coincidental, those two things happening today.
This documentary, though, I don't remember this happening. Do you guys remember this happening? So,
Yeah, I remember it.
I remember like the internet, something going viral with the audio clips came out is why. Yeah. Because the guy, it was just crazy audio clips of this guy talking to air traffic control.
I don't understand how this was an formative experience for every human, like following this case, like the OJ white Bronco chase. You know what I mean?
No, it was just almost like it's like a joke or like a meme crime or something. Like he was just like, oh man, I hope I don't get in trouble. Ha ha ha. And he's like, I'm just gonna do one less barrel roll, and I think that's it. And he did, and that was it.
The barrel roll, he did the barrel roll. I think he ran out of gas. I think that's what it was. But it was just, all of a sudden, he just went down.
Just a kid, not a kid, but a young man.
Young man. 20s.
Stole a plane and did not know how to fly it. Nope. Somehow got it off the ground. It was a commercial jet, right? It was just like a small, like a, what do they call them? Puddle jumpers or whatever?
Yeah.
Small. I don't know if it. Yeah, I don't know if it was a commercial.
I think it was a prop plane, but either way,
yeah.
I mean,
it looked like it held 10 or more people, like the type you'd take, from one island in Alaska to another island.
Yeah,
nuts.
Yeah, it's pretty great. I think he was ground maintenance, and he just popped in one of the planes one day and took off. He's like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I think a lot of people.
Like, how'd you do this? He goes, I play a lot of video games. I thought I'd figure it out.
You think this thing could do a barrel roll? Let's find out. And he did a barrel roll. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So we'll find out more whenever that documentary comes out.
Yeah.
We are technically following up the Dear Jack episode with this Carry On episode there. We want to just thank Susan and Erica for coming on the show with us. They were fantastic.
Great guests.
Just to throw this out there, Andrew McMahon is putting on a charitable concert for the Dear Jack Foundation in Denver in November, and they're going to do 2 shows at the Betcher Concert Hall downtown there. So I will be at that. And I think Erica is also going to be at that. So if you wanted to come, meet people down there, we'll be at that show. But yeah, that's going to be exciting.
Cool. I didn't make that episode, but I did listen to it. And I don't know if anybody was thinking that, but I don't think that cancer is caused by sin, I think is what the accusation was.
Well, I was just recounting what you've said in the past to me.
The fact that you had to bring it up like that makes it kind of seem like you're...
I'm just highlighting it now.
I don't think it comes from sin. I think it comes from any type of wrongdoing. I think it comes from an impure heart.
I think the phrase I used was karma. That's what
karma justice.
That's right. That's what it was.
Karma. Yeah.
That's what it was. Mm-hmm. Man, there's a new at University of Waterloo, which I don't know where that is. Maybe New Zealand, Australia, England. I don't know.
Wouldn't it be in?
Could be Canada,
France? Yeah, wouldn't it be?
No, but it's Americans. It's not that Waterloo.
Okay,
it's
it could be anywhere.
Yeah, it's English names, the researchers, but new cancer research that they're, I think it's like pre-first stage. I'm assuming, but a bacteria that is eating tumors. Did you see this?
I did see that headline. I didn't click on the article, but yeah, I did see that. Yeah, they have something that could eat cancer with feed on cancer.
Yeah, basically, and something about just injecting it inside tumors and it's eating them from the inside out. But, it's testing it in a human is going to be a different thing, I'm assuming.
I'll put this out there just because these studies just came out in the last couple of weeks here. mRNA vaccines are the way of the future. And that is how we're going to be preventing cancer. There's going to be probably in the next 10 to 20 years, there's going to be cancer vaccines. And most of the treatment aspects of cancer treatment are going to be more along that line of like, oh, you have a predilection for this type of cancer. We're just going to vaccinate you against it. But the studies that came out that I was referring to were 2 big ones that came out with the COVID vaccine that basically showed that it not only worked, but prevented significant decrease in hospitalizations and deaths with, I think, several 100,000 people in this study. And it's just one of those frustrating ones as a doctor, like all the anti-vax stuff, all the bullshit and all this stuff. And it's like, okay, we finally have the real hard data that everyone wanted and people are still going to reject it.
Well, saved a couple 100,000 lives, gave 19 billion people autism though. So that's the trap. Hey, no, here's a question.
Actually, that's probably true. The way things are going politically, I think that it did some damage.
Here's a question for you though, with the mRNA stuff, right? Because it's so promising, right? Like that's how Pfizer came with their vaccine immediately, because they've been studying an mRNA cancer vaccine for 10 years or something like that, according to a book that I read. Will government financing being pulled from this actually affect any of the progress with this? Or like, what do you think? I think Pfizer does their own stuff, but I know that smaller companies need government funding.
There's a couple ways to look at that. Just the current administration has just drastically slashed all science budgets. So yes, the short answer is yes. That said, there was just a case where I forget the company that put forth, I think it was a new flu vaccine in front of the FDA, and they just basically like out of hand rejected it. And the entire industry was like, that's not how this works. You can't do this. You're going to stop R&D if you do this. And within like a week, they reversed it and they moved ahead with the process there. Because that was just too anti-vax, not just anti-mRNA stuff, but like just like you can't do that. You're going to stop the whole process. This is I think the current administration and the way they're approaching science, it's going to be a hiccup. I want to be optimistic about this. I think this is so promising. The couple discoveries in the last 20 years that are going to change things are CRISPR and then mRNA vaccines and CRISPR, monoclonal antibodies, and then mRNA vaccines that are just going to open up the window or open up the door to treating almost everything. So with CRISPR, we can create any strand of DNA that we want. And if you can create any strand of DNA that you want, that you can create any protein that you want. You can create any protein that you want. You can create any sort of antibody. You can create any sort of enzyme. You can create anything to affect the body in a way that we want it to. Now, there's always going to be hiccups. There's going to be like, certain things will hit multiple targets that we didn't necessarily know about. But all in all, like, this is the way of the future. We're going to get away from, and most of the pre-Trump stuff, most of the funding was for getting away from synthetic medication. So think of, your average pill, and moving more towards the biologics. So monoclonal antibody, and then moving into mRNA technology. So a monoclonal
you're basically
antibody,
talking about getting to the root of things instead of treating symptoms.
Yes. Which is funny. Do you guys ever watch Dr. Glaucom? Do you know who Dr. Glaucom Fleckham is?
Mm-mm.
He was the main speaker at the AAP conference this year. He's an ophthalmologist, but I don't even know if he still practices. He just makes YouTube videos now. And
would be incredible if we'd heard of that guy.
He makes the funniest
or could spell his name to Google him. Yeah.
That's not his real name, but he makes videos making fun of other doctors, and then it turned into this more politically motivated and science driven and all this sort of stuff. And he had this video of just like, man, I went to school for 4 years of college and 4 years of medical school and 5 years of residency and to learn all these things, and I still just don't know the root cause of disease. I need to find a rootier cause of all these problems. And it was just making fun of RFK's whole thing of just like, what's the root cause of this whole stuff? It's like, well, man, what do we not know what we're talking about? Like, what is all of our training for? Like, nothing.
Right. Can you update us on the status of like CRISPR research? So I think most people probably remember when we first heard about this several years ago, and then you hear a little bit sprinkled here and there. The last time, I guess about 3 years ago, I talked to a friend who's a researcher on Alzheimer's at Berkeley. And because I'd read an article about CRISPR possibly being something that helps with dementia. And he said there's nothing plausible at this point because you'd have to edit like 1 trillion cells individually. But I don't know if things have changed in the last few years.
Real quick, what's CRISPR? I generally know what it is, but I don't think I know enough intelligently to explain what it is.
CRISPR is a way of generating a specific strand of DNA, and you can edit it to make it whatever you want it to do. It's a way of...
Your DNA is a big strand of text, and you're going to cut some stuff out and put something else in that fixes the
Jurassic Park?
Yes, in the broad scheme, hypothetically, that's possible. It's more small scale. You're making small strands of DNA that you could either use to correct a defect in somebody, or more practically, that you can then use to create proteins. There's overlapping of terms. Proteins, enzymes, hormones, all those things are kind of in the same bucket. But it's ways that you could correct a problem in someone's body. So hypothetically, you could create a way to fix diabetes.
So you have sickle cell. Okay. Sorry.
That one's a little bit more
no, not that one. I picked the one that it won't fix.
No, I mean, hypothetically you could get there, but like probably the easiest one would be like hypothyroidism or diabetes, or a lot of the autoimmune stuff. So celiac, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, lupus. If you could make your own body create an antibody against the antibody that's attacking you, then you could hypothetically fix the problem, or at least treat it.
Wow.
We're so close. We're so close on these.
You think within 10 years, is this like I know like with AI, each generation is 10 times better than the previous generation. Are we accelerating at a rate like that, like exponential?
Well,
rate?
you just opened up a can of worms there. So if you add AI to this model, you could accelerate it much, much faster. Scientists are not necessarily the most like creative and artistic people, and they have historically they've had a hard time kind of like finding the right matches for proteins, and think of them as a lock and key. And I think back in the 2000s they did an experiment where they used gamers, like online gamers, to like fold proteins to try to find the most efficient ways of making a protein that would bind with stuff, and they did a lot better than the scientists did. if you put AI in front of that and could do it a billion times, you're going to find the most efficient ways of creating the enzymes and creating things that are going to like be the best version of this. And so if you combine what we're talking about with the CRISPR, monoclonals, and mRNA vaccines, and then throw AI generative stuff in there, it's going to be pretty wild. With this technology, it sounds so futuristic, and it's really more near future. Like these are all real possibilities. This is all science that has been done. It's just, what are we going to do with it?
Do you guys ever think to yourself, like, I don't know if I brush my teeth? Ryan Connor, you're like super, like, take care of yourself, so I'm not talking about you. Like, you don't brush your teeth, you don't maybe work out enough, you don't sleep enough, and you just think to yourself, but by the time that's really going to mess me up when I'm older, I think they're going to have the technology to fix it anyway. You're just kind of like putting your eggs in that basket of like, it's going to be fine.
I've gone beyond that. I'm actually hoping more the like Black Mirror episode where they upload your consciousness into like the cloud. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm not taking any risks. I'm preparing for a post-apocalyptic world. I got to take care of myself. I got to drink a jar of water every 30 minutes and just prep.
I'm sitting here drinking a Fat Tire. I'm going to more like...
See, I don't do anything that you do, Ryan, and you probably have had more broken bones and hospital visits than I have. So
that's why, because you don't play competitive sports.
Oh, he's got you on that one.
What are you talking about? I think I got him.
No, he's out there like challenging himself, and so like, yeah, you're gonna have like, bumps and bruises.
You're gonna get bumps and bruises. But I haven't played a competitive sport in 3 years. I got a bad concussion like 3 years ago, and I was like, okay, now we're just doing general running with no obstacles. So yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I've never been concussed. Anything.
Therefore, you probably are gonna live a lot longer than me.
That's what I'm saying. Well, there's a lot of other things I do unhealthy that I'm just like, fingers crossed, man. CRISPR, DNA.
Are you on any medications?
Sure.
Oh, you are. Oh, you're on statins.
Oh, yeah.
Dork.
We should all be on statins.
Well, yeah, my doctor was like, we've put it off for long enough. I've changed my diet and all that. And she's like, you definitely need statins. It's like,
dude, have I told you guys about my old doctor when I had LA Care? I should report this dude to like the state medical board or something. So now, okay, he would say stuff to me that I just knew was absurd. I think I even texted you about some of the stuff at the time, Eric, and was like, do I really need to be worried about this? And you're like, no. And I can't remember which things. I think it was blood pressure related stuff. But my old doctor, he said, I mean, and I, at the time when I'm seeing him, I'm like 6'1". I was probably 185 pounds, 12-ish% body fat. He said I was obese. He said I had high blood pressure, needed to be on medication. He said I had high cholesterol, needed to be on medication for that. Obviously, I was not obese. My blood pressure was always around like 120 over 70, 120 over 75. My total cholesterol was like in the 180s. He was trying to put me on all these medications. Well, I recently read about all this Medicare fraud in LA County specifically. And I used to buy my insurance through the state exchange, like where it was like you're actually buying your plan from, like, you're basically buying Medicare or Medicaid. So I'm like, doesn't this just sound like obvious fraud? Because the reimbursement rates are like, if people have these conditions, from what I understand from this LA Times article, if your doctor diagnoses you with these things, then they can charge more for you as a patient.
Did your doctor's office has an in-house pharmacy? Could you get your meds right there at the office?
You could not, but he did some wacko shit there. Like, this is like, eventually I had to stop seeing him because he was, he started talking like all this like anti-aging injections and all the stuff that he's offering to people and like hair shit. But he gave me, when I was having some lower back issues, and he exacerbated things as he was just giving me steroid shots constantly, and we never got to the actual problem, which I ended up figuring out on my own. And now functionally I feel like I'm 18 years old, but whereas I was like practically immobile at times. Should I report this doctor?
I've read articles about this, and I saw a news article about it too. How hard it is for you to like actually hold a doctor to account, which is funny for me saying that, because like I live in mortal fear of not a real complaint, even a Google review, any sort of complaint against me, like I would take so personally and be like so mortified about. And I practice evidence-based medicine, and I practice a standard of care. But there are guys out there that are just quacks. And apparently it is extremely hard to hold these people accountable.
Interesting.
And if things, if they get charged with anything, they just move states, just get a new license. And it's hard to really hold them to account. And that I find that frightening.
It is. I switched doctors. This is when I had that insurance. I went to a new doctor, and they did new blood work, and he's like, everything's perfect. I don't know what this doctor's talking about. It's terrifying. Then
report them. Even if it's not going to do anything, just report them. You should. It's the right thing to do.
And can I ask you? You said we should all be on statins. What's that about?
I mean, just with our diet, and if things move the way RFK wants us to, and eating more tallow.
Oh God, yeah,
shit like that. Just the American diet of like just land animal based fats and protein, all this sort of stuff. Like it's just. The American lipid profile is bad. And so for the most part, that we should all be on statins.
Well, what if our lipid numbers are good though?
Well, those rare few of us, and the ones that are actually checking, you're probably okay. But
okay.
I had the first
Americans.
I had the first bad lipid panel I've ever had this year. And so I have to go back in June to get it rechecked. But I've really ramped up as far as like salad intake and like fish intake, less beef. I mean, I eat almost no beef. I eat almost entirely, you're gonna laugh at this, like game meat, and then fish. So
what test did I have done to find out what the actual plaque buildup is? Calcium?
Yeah, a calcium scan.
Calcium scan. So I had a calcium scan done. I don't remember what the number was. It was low. It was like low, but for someone in their early 40s, it was like top like 80 percentile or something like that, in a bad way for someone like in their early 40s. That's when my doctor was like, yeah, we're going to start you on statins right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's preventative medicine.
My calcium now.
No. It's looking at the plaques in your arteries and stuff.
Oh, so not my calcium levels, but I'm looking at what do I look at when I'm looking at my medical records?
Your lipid panel is a good gauge of where you're at. So if you have really high HDL over 60 and your LDL is under 110, I think, then you should be good to go.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. This is my pea brain. I'm trying to understand it. Your lipids is a measurement. That's easy. It's a blood test. It's the easiest one. You go to the doctor, you get like once a year. It's a measurement of how much good, bad cholesterol is flowing through your blood. It's actually in your blood, but it doesn't tell you if that cholesterol is actually attaching to your artery walls and causing any kind of obstruction, right?
Yes, but that typically doesn't happen unless your numbers are out of whack.
Okay, but what I'm saying is the test I had, the calcium scan, is a test of, is there plaque attaching to your artery walls?
Yes.
So
correct.
That is a more direct of like, okay, things are not right. And then the best test is a stress test, right?
You've been sinning for too long.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's more impure thoughts. It's just impure thoughts. But 85% more than most of the population. So anyway, they put me on statins. So hopefully take that down. Around the same time I found that out, my dad, who's always said like, I got the good cholesterol, but they put me on statins 30 years ago as preventative. Went to the doctor and had one artery completely blocked and another one like 98% blocked. So it's definitely something genetically I should be concerned about.
Oh, wow.
Yes. That's another thing. That's another thing where I'm talking about like, I'm still going to have a lot of bacon. Not a lot of bacon. I have less bacon now. But my point being is like, ultimately, when I need it 20 years from now, where's this CRISPR DNA stuff going? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I just, is it going to be okay? It's going to be fine. Right?
I'm trying to think of a way that could happen. We'll probably have something figured out by then.
There's going to be some kind of advancement where it's like, we're good now. You don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about Alzheimer's or diabetes or whatever.
The Alzheimer's stuff is coming along quickly, and that actually does have a lot of applications for the type of science we were talking about there. So the problem with that is it's probably multifactorial. We know that there's a couple like key proteins that if you have buildup of, then you're going to have problems. So if you could say like make an antibody against them, or kind of stop it at the core, stop at the early stages, then there's a good chance that we could fix this. I don't want to say fix it, but like treat it in the future.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like it would be something for Alzheimer's specifically preventative, because once you have issues with brain cells damaged, that's hard to come back from.
If we could the big thing with mRNA vaccines that's so amazing is if I were to give you a typical vaccine, your body's going to react to it. Your immune system will remember it for a certain amount of time. And depending on the illness, it may be shorter or longer. But mRNA vaccines, it tells your body how to produce this protein or this antibody for quite a while. And you could, and also even if it's not for that long, you could just give it, every other year or so and prevent these problems from ever evolving. It's absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking at my lipid panel.
Sorry, I was just geeking out. This whole episode's been just me geeking out on science stuff.
Eric, what do you think my triglycerides are?
130? Was this fasting?
82.
Was this fasting?
No, I mean just went and got my blood work.
That's impressive. That's very low. Good job.
Fuck with me.
The look on your face, the look on
you're so proud of yourself.
Do you understand
so
the victory
smug.
it feels like coming from a doctor for 3 years who told me I was gonna die any day and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean?
Do you understand this is the 3rd or 4th episode you've brought up your lipid panel?
I love it. Eric, what about total cholesterol?
Say 160.
That's incredible. You almost to the digit. 164.
Nice.
Look at you, man. This is the kind of doctor we need, who can just look at you and tell you your lipid panel.
Is this a sideshow guess your weight type of level of difficulty? I don't know if this is hard to do or not.
What about my red blood cell count? This is fun. Red blood cell.
Can I guess?
Yeah, I want you to guess.
It's like 7.5.
What do you think, Eric?
Blood cell count for adult. I don't do this. I do adult, or I do kid stuff. 10.
Ryan Frank is closer. 4.91.
I was joking because I didn't know if it was something on the scales of hundreds or thousands. I was literally
exactly. I would have guessed 400 or something.
So for me, I look at hemoglobin and hematocrit for kids. It's very rare that I'm actually looking at RBCs. I'm looking at WBCs quite a bit.
Yeah, that's boring. Let's do this. Let's keep going with this game.
Do you want to do some more? What's my mean platelet volume?
Oh God.
Okay, hold on. Is this numbers or letters?
It's number.
These are not metrics of health. These are things like if you're looking for either rare diseases or if you're like.
Do you want to find this? Let's do the size of my red blood cells.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm going to say 12 microns.
I lost it. Is this the one? I lost it. I clicked off of it. Sorry. I ruined the show.
I'm going to say, well, I'm probably right.
I got my glucose. You guys want to guess my glucose?
Let's, how about 90?
What do you think, Ryan Frank?
Well, now I know that 90 is a possibility. I got to go with
Wheel
85.
of Fortune. That's Wheel of Fortune.
89.
You don't.
It's not Wheel of Fortune. It's Price is Right. Price is Right.
89.
Yeah. Oh, you get both prizes,
dude. Yeah. How about me not knowing the difference between Wheel of Fortune and Price is Right?
It's okay.
You know, you make a bid on Wheel of Fortune. Is there any other fun thing to guess? My anion gap.
No.
Can I guess what part of the body that is?
Yeah, go for it.
It's below the waist.
It's the difference between the specific positively and negatively charged electrolytes in your blood.
It's if you're there's certain diseases can make you acidotic or alkalotic, and so it's looking at those.
Gotcha. So if that's out of range, it just tells you got to run some other test. Is that what that basically means?
Yeah. If it's really out of whack, like you're going to be super sick. So if you have,
I'm on the very low end of normal. That's weird.
No, that's okay.
Okay,
that's not a good or bad thing.
Okay.
But
Okay.
If you were a diabetic and you were in like DKA, or if you were like septic, or you'd been dead for a bit, like, it's gonna be off.
So as long as I'm in range, we're good. Okay. This has been really fun.
There's no way anybody's still listening. There's no way.
There's no way.
Have fun editing that one.
How about this?
Yeah.
Can you guys guess? I went to CVS and there was a new employee and they're like, you're actually late on 2 vaccines. I went to get my COVID shot and they're like, you're late on 2 vaccines. I didn't pay attention to what they were. I was like, let's do it. They give me one of them. I was like, I'll come back for the other one. I come home. I show Rachel. I was like, yeah, I got this hepatitis B booster. And she's like, I don't think you need to get a hep B booster. And I'm like, I don't know. Because I'd already had all the shots. And I guess it just wasn't in their system. Basically, they were trying to get me to get all the shots that they would give to like homeless people who are just like sharing needles in the streets.
You look like someone that does that.
So you came into CVS and you look like a homeless person, is what you're saying?
I guess so. And I don't even leave the house like in pajamas and stuff. I put on real clothes and stuff. I don't know if this person didn't know what they were doing, or if they were just a good salesperson, but they were like, you want all the shots that we give to vagrants? Yeah. Except they didn't put it like that. They were like, it's vaccine time. And Rachel's like, I really don't think you need these if you've already had them.
Usually with Hep B, you do like a titer count. I had to redo my Hep B series. So like we all got it probably as kids. And when I was in med school, before I did my clinicals, we had to do titer levels to make sure that we were in a protective level, and I wasn't. So I had to redo it.
About 3 years ago, I got all of mine checked just to see if I needed any other vaccines, and I was good.
Jesus. All right. That's thorough.
Yeah, it was just like COVID vaccine came out. I was like, fuck, do I need to get any others? And my doctor's like, we can run a test.
I mean, we usually just say, just do it. So like I did a MMR booster a couple of years ago. And actually the Tdap is one where they've changed, where you're supposed to be doing that roughly every like 8 to 9 years now. Whereas it used to be, just, get it and you're fine for life. And that's not quite accurate.
Yeah, the military, they poke you with everything. I was smallpox vaccinated and all that, but that was long enough ago. It was 20 years ago. I don't know if that still probably has some effect, but maybe not much. Because I think there was some older people in my squadron that had it as a kid back in the day when they were still doing it. And
when they rubbed smallpox scabs into your wound.
Well, they still do that. That's what they did.
Oh,
not the actual scabs, but they actually that's
a gnarly scar. Yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah, no, that's what they did for me. That's what they had to take expose your skin, and then they rub the smallpox on you or whatever, and like, yeah, that's I mean, it's a lot more controlled, safe, and no one got sick or anything like that. But yeah, it was a old school way of vaccinating somebody against smallpox, because back then we didn't know what was going to happen in Iraq if they had weapons of mass destruction and all that. So post-apocalyptic world, I know you always talk about your just in case safe, Eric, but I think I might actually survive depending on.
There's no zombie vaccine yet.
I mean, no one cares, and I probably won't have the effort to do that, but we should compare our numbers at some point, Ryan. I bet it would be like...
I'm going to get mine redone in June, and this is after like 3 months of exercising, better diet, all this sort of stuff. I want to see where I'm at.
Let's all compare, because my last physical was early last September, but last year I couldn't run because of the neuroma in my foot. Now I'm back in some cardio shape.
Are we still recording?
Yeah,
are we just
bullshit? Yeah. Let's do this next carry on, and they actually did this on an episode of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia podcast, where they all got their blood test and they bet on who would have the best. I don't even know enough to say the lowest or the highest or the whatever the best thing is. And they had a doctor on to rate everyone on who was the best person based off of blood results.
Okay.
So you'll do that, Eric. You'll compare me and Ryan.
Can we get Adrian to do this too? Or is Adrian shouldn't do it? He's running for governor.
Got too much stuff on his plate right now. Leave him alone.
This is fun.
Yeah. So for the one person that might still be listening at this point, thank you. We'll see you next time. The next episode is going to be a good one. We are going to have a death scene cleanup guy talk about his experience. So tune in for that. Ryan, is there anything you want to plug before we take off?
You can pre-order my memoir, 12 Guys Walk Into a Kitchen. anywhere books can be ordered online. You can go to the Simon & Schuster website and you can, get a link to any retailer there or buy it straight through the publisher, or you can just go to Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, whatever. Also, in May, I'm going to be in Denver and Fort Collins, June, Vegas, also Santa Fe on Albuquerque. Don't remember the dates, and some others. They're on my website.
Go to your website, Ryan Connor.
RyanConnorComedy.com.
All right. I think that'll do it. See you guys next time. Music for Baggage provided by Quincy Ledbetter. You can find his stuff at qledbetter.com. Graphics provided by Megan Weaver. You can find her at meganweaverart.com. Special thanks to our premium members for their support. You can become a premium member by clicking subscribe in your Apple Podcast app or by visiting thebaggagepodcast.com/support to sign up or to gift a membership to someone. A percentage of all proceeds go to charity. If you have any questions, comments, or a good story to share, please email us at thebaggagepodcast@gmail.com.